The first unit of the year is Western Hemisphere Early Cultures and Development Over Time. This unit allows students to begin their studies of the Western Hemisphere through the lenses of history and geography. In history, the planning templates are organized using the concepts of historical process and the interactions among people, events, and ideas. In addition, history conceptual big ideas are present, those of continuity and change over time, and unity and diversity. In geography, planning templates highlight the organizing concept of spatial inquiry with big idea concepts of human and physical interaction, region, location, and spatial orientation elevated as big idea concepts. The goal of this slide is to help you think a little bit about concept-based instruction. Here, the right side is meant to represent a possible anchor chart contained within the classroom. Notice how I've placed all of the concepts for the unit at the top. I've included the big ideas and the organizing concepts. At the bottom, a teacher might choose a collection of essential questions that they want to explore with students throughout the unit of study. Using a tool like this is at the heart of concept-based learning because helping students connect the facts and skills that they are learning back to bigger ideas is the goal. For the teacher, this happens through making artful choices about when and how to guide student learning back to the unit's concepts and essential questions. It is these opportunities that allow students to make sense of their learning. Such opportunities might include turn-in talks, class discussions, or even quick writes. This first unit of the year is lengthy, and to support teachers with instruction, this document was created. This tool is linked in the Unit Stage 2 and 3 document, and its title is Unit Outline, A Possible Approach. The goal of this was to give teachers an idea of how they might approach the learning within this unit, remembering that you may have other ideas about how to address the desired results for student learning. This tool shows the unit broken into 5 different chunks. Each chunk bundles some of the desired results for student learning. With each chunk, a support document is linked. That support document shows the learning goals that have been bundled for that chunk, ideas about instruction, and links to resources connected to the learning goals. In addition, at the bottom of the tool, you'll see a link that shares possible forms of assessment that teachers might consider. As you use this tool, feedback is appreciated so that this can be improved over time. The first organizing concept comes from history and focuses on interactions among people, events, and ideas. Historians study the interactions among people, events, and ideas to make sense of eras and understand cause and effect relationships. Think of it like a chemical reaction with new ingredients in every mixture. Those new ingredients are the people, events, and ideas within a certain time period or era. If we place the people, events, and ideas of an era into a mixing pot, they blend together and create outcomes that cause history to progress uniquely. By considering the interactions among people, events, and ideas, historians are able to predict why our global story has moved forward in unique ways, and how that story includes elements that change and elements that stay the same. Within this unit, students learn about early cultures of the Western Hemisphere in a time when there was minimal interaction across cultures. These early cultures developed their own belief systems, their own daily life structures, and methods of survival, their own forms of artistic expression, and their own forms of technology. As students explore the next key era of development in the Western Hemisphere, they consider the era of European exploration and analyze how those cultural interactions brought social and cultural change. These cultural interactions are the foundation of this concept as students see how the event of European exploration caused different people and ideas to interact, thereby changing the face of the Western Hemisphere. Last, students look at the Western Hemisphere as it is today, reflecting on how people and nations have developed socially and culturally due to various events, ideas, and interactions. As students explore this concept, they will examine social and cultural elements of places, analyze interactions over key eras and consider their impact, and analyze how and why the Western Hemisphere has developed socially and culturally. The second organizing concept, historical process, defines the process historians use to construct the stories of history. While we are supporting students in learning history, our goal is to help students think like historians and use processes that historians use in their daily practice. For example, historians use a variety of sources and perspectives to develop complex historical understanding. In this process, students will construct history by using each new source to understand the stories of history with increasing complexity. Reading a textbook or watching a video retelling of events is a secondary source, as these sources were created by historians who analyze primary sources. Primary sources are the documents, images, journals, and historical pieces of evidence that are used to make sense of history. They are the actual pieces of history. Every time a student explores another perspective or an additional primary source, the story becomes more layered and more complex. History is not a single strand or a single story as told in a textbook. History is the fabric of perspectives and stories woven together by the historian through the historical process. As students explore this concept, they will construct history, examine primary and secondary sources, evaluate different perspectives when analyzing events, ideas, and actions. They will formulate historical questions, and they'll compare the past to the present to develop historical context. You'll see that the learning goals from these first two history organizing concepts elevate themselves significantly within the last three chunks of this unit. The third organizing concept within this unit, spatial inquiry, is associated with geography and involves utilizing a variety of geographic tools and sources to develop spatial awareness of the world. Through the use of tools and sources, students begin to create their own mental maps of the world. Think of a time when someone asked you about an issue in the world and you turned your head up trying to picture the location of the event. At that time, you were accessing your mental map. It's one of the first maps that people develop. In addition to the development of mental maps, spatial inquiry involves becoming aware of physical landforms and landscapes, or analyzing tools and sources to understand geographic regions, while considering how human systems are impacted by physical systems. In this unit, students develop their mental maps of the Western Hemisphere and use tools that help them to develop awareness of the different climate regions and physical systems. While studying early cultures, students have the opportunity to consider how the local physical systems may have influenced the human systems of cultures, and how the human systems of cultures may have caused people to use the physical systems in unique ways. As students explore this concept, they will use, collect, and analyze information from geographic tools, develop a general mental map of the Western Hemisphere, and connect people and their problems to the physical world. You'll see that the learning goals from this geography organizing concept elevate themselves significantly within the second and third chunks of this unit. In addition, I'd like to highlight a few resources that you'll find in your Stage 2 and 3 document. One is titled Discovery Education Resources, which has links to the Discovery Education videos that are connected to this unit. This was created for those schools that purchase site licenses to Discovery Education. Second, America Before Columbus documentary is an outstanding documentary created by National Geographic that is available online. It's also been finished quite recently, so the footage is high quality. Finally, teachers are encouraged to join your 6th grade social studies group on Jeffco Schoology. To join this group, you'll need the access code listed at the bottom of this slide. This group will allow me to share professional opportunities and offer insights or snippets of information about units of study as you progress throughout the year. Plus, if you have questions about the unit or its goals, you have the opportunity to engage in professional dialogue so you can become more knowledgeable and comfortable with your social studies instruction. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful.